Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So Dominion Voting Systems got a huge break in their lawsuits against Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, and everybody else that they are suing at the moment, and who they may sue in the future. Because on Wednesday, U.S. District Judge Linda Parker issued a 110-page ruling against those attorneys, against Lynn Wood, Sidney Powell, and I believe it was 7 other attorneys who are lesser known, but pro-Trump attorneys who filed that bogus Kraken lawsuit in Michigan. As part of her ruling, Parker stated, quote, "This lawsuit represents a historic and profound abuse of the judicial process. It is one thing to take on the charge of vindicating rights associated with an allegedly fraudulent election. It is another to take on the charge of deceiving a federal court and the American people into believing that rights were infringed without regard to whether any laws or rights were in fact violated. This is what happened here." She also said that their lawsuit, quote, "was never about fraud. It was about undermining the people's faith in our democracy and debasing the judicial process to do so." Judge Parker also said that all of the attorneys, quote, "have scorned their oath, flouted the rules, and attempted to undermine the integrity of the judiciary along the way." So the judge went on to dismiss the idea that the attorneys were protected by their First Amendment rights to free speech, which was an argument that they tried to make. She said, quote, "While we as a country pride ourselves on the freedoms embodied within the First Amendment, it is well established that an attorney's freedom of speech is circumscribed upon entering the courtroom." And later in her ruling, she reiterated that point. She went on to say, quote, "Plaintiffs' counsel's politically motivated accusations, allegations, and gamesmanship may be protected by the First Amendment when posted on Twitter, shared on Telegram, or repeated on television. The nation's courts, however, are reserved for hearing legitimate causes of action." Parker's ruling went on then to say that the attorneys should have done their due diligence to investigate election fraud conspiracies prior to filing the lawsuit. And she ordered them to take classes about the ethical and legal requirements for filing legal claims, which, considering who some of these people are, who some of these attorneys are, how long they've worked in the legal field, like Lynn Wood, it's just a total burn. It's such a slap in their faces. I mean, it's almost like she put that in just to humiliate them, and I'm here for it. I think it's awesome. In addition, the domestic terrorist attack on January 6th was mentioned in the judge's ruling, and she made it clear that she blames these attorneys in part for inciting that attack. Judge Parker wrote, quote, "Plaintiffs' lawyers brazenly assert that they would file the same complaints again. They make this assertion even after witnessing the events of January 6th and the dangers posed by narratives like the one counsel crafted here. An attorney who willingly continues to assert claims doomed to fail and which have incited violence before must be deemed to be acting with an improper motive." And it's pretty funny that she brings this up now, because Sidney Powell was just recently, like within the past few days, was on Steve Bannon's show saying that the January 6th attack was an FBI setup. So not only is Sidney Powell still not copping to the fact that her Kraken lawsuits were a bunch of bullshit, but she's also not accepting responsibility for her part in inciting that domestic terrorist attack. So yeah, these people need to be sanctioned. They need to lose their license is what needs to happen. But the judge further stated that, quote, "Once it appeared that their preferred political candidate's grasp on the presidency was slipping away, plaintiffs' counsel helped mold the predetermined narrative about election fraud by lodging this federal lawsuit based on evidence that they actively refused to investigate or question with the requisite level of professional skepticism. And this refusal was to ensure that the evidence conformed with the predetermined narrative, a narrative that has had dangerous and violent consequences. So she makes it very clear. And I have to wonder if maybe she saw that Steve Bannon episode and interview and thought, wow, these people just don't get it. I mean, they just keep digging their hole. It's like, someone take the friggin' shovel away from these people, or maybe don't. I guess don't. But in addition to the classes that these attorneys have to take, Parker also ruled that they have to reimburse election officials for legal expenses. And the judge has referred all of these attorneys for professional conduct investigations. So that means that they can possibly, and this is what she said, is that it's for possible suspension or disbarment. Now, Lunatic Linwood did not take this news well. He jumped on Parler after the judge's ruling, and he insinuated that not only is she a communist, but she's a liar. He posted a Thomas Paine quote, which reads, "Communism never lets the truth get in the way of its objectives." He also reiterated that he had, quote, "nothing to do with the drafting or filing of that lawsuit," which is pretty funny. And he vowed to appeal this decision, of course. But think of how Wood wanted all the glory, right? Wanted all the glory when he doesn't have the guts to accept the consequences. I mean, I seem to recall that he was all over social media gloating and boasting about his part in all of these election fraud lawsuits. Now he doesn't want credit? Wow. My advice for Linwood is to grow a pair of ovaries. Yeah. Woman up, Wood. Anyway, guys, I will keep you posted. Yes, you can expect that they will appeal this. I hope to God that it sticks and that another appeals judge says, nope, yeah, this was correct. And I hope that they're all disbarred because they are a danger to our country. Anyway, I'll keep you posted on all of this. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.